The rain fell like shards of light over Orleans 9, each droplet glimmering as it struck the marble streets. Above the clouds, the alien city shimmered, spires of violet steel and glass stretching into the heavens. Inside the Hall of Remembrance, General Seraya stood motionless before a black stone monument. Thousands of names were carved there, glowing faintly in the dim light. Her hand, metallic and graceful, stopped over one name, written in an ancient Terran script few still understood. Captain Elias Ward, Terran Expeditionary Corps. Kiev Vraxo's Rift. Her voice trembled. You died in my arms, Elias, 60 years ago. The alien general bowed her head. Time had not touched her kind as it did humans, but she had felt every year since his death. Every sunrise reminded her of the human who had defied her war, her orders, and her heart. The hall was empty, or so she thought. A faint sound echoed. Footsteps. Not the soft stride of her species. Heavy. Human. Seraya turned sharply, her hand going to her weapon. A figure stood in the doorway, drenched in rain, wearing a torn Terran uniform. His pulse rifle was slung over his shoulder. His face familiar beyond belief. He looked up. Seraya, he whispered, what happened to the city? Why does everything look different? Her breath caught. Elias. She took one step forward, then another, until she stood close enough to see the faint scar across his jaw, the one she'd kissed before that final battle. You died, she stammered. I buried you myself. He looked at her in confusion. Last thing I remember, we were pinned down by artillery fire. You pulled me behind the ridge, then light, heat, and now I'm here. She reached out, her armored fingers trembling. This cannot be real. Apparently it is, he said softly. You haven't aged a day. She laughed bitterly. Neither have you, but I have waited 60 years for this moment. One, the ghost who returned. The Dominion Science Council confirmed it within hours. His DNA, retinal scan, and neural imprint matched perfectly. Captain Elias Ward, declared dead 6 decades ago, was alive. Every test said the same thing. No biological aging, no cellular decay. To science, it was impossible. To Seraya, it was a miracle. Yet the universe had never been kind with its miracles. When she saw him again, he was seated by a wide observation window overlooking the twin moons of Orleans. He stared at them like a man seeing ghosts. It's been minutes for me, he said. But for you, decades. Time moves differently through the rift, she said quietly. It must have thrown you forward. He smiled faintly. Guess I took the long way back. 2. The weight of memories. They walked through the city together. For her, it was a walk through memory. For him, a walk through a future he didn't understand. Statues of soldiers. Gardens planted on old battlefields. A monument shaped like a human hand reaching toward the stars. He stopped when he saw the largest of them all, a statue of himself, carved in crystal, standing beside her likeness. You built this, he asked. I built a world without war, she said, but not without loss. They talked for hours about Earth, about the war, about everything and nothing. But beneath every word, the truth lingered. He didn't belong here. And yet neither of them could let go. 3. The science of the impossible. The Dominion scientists studied Elias endlessly. Temporal scans revealed a chronological stasis field still clinging to his cells. His body clock had stopped at the moment of his death and resumed only when he emerged from a wormhole. To the universe, he was a relic out of time. If the field decays, Dr. Rain warned, you may begin aging all at once. Elias gave a wry grin. Guess I'd better live fast, then. But when the sessions ended, Seraya was always there, waiting silent, watching him as though afraid he'd vanish again. You're not supposed to exist, she said one night. Neither was our love, he replied. But that didn't stop us. 4. The rift reopens. Peace had reigned for 60 years. Until the stars began to tremble again. Sensors across the Dominion picked up a growing energy pulse, a signature identical to the Vraxos rift. Seraya stood in the war room, her expression cold and sharp. If that rift reopens, it'd consume half the sector, and only one being had ever survived it. Elias. When they asked for his help, he didn't hesitate. You want to know how I came back? Then I have to go back in. Seraya stepped forward, fury and fear in her eyes. No, you won't survive another jump. You said I wasn't supposed to exist, he said softly. Maybe that means I was sent here to stop it. Elias, please. Seraya, if I can close it, maybe I can finally belong somewhere. Maybe I can earn this second chance. 5. The last goodbye. The hangar was alive with blinding light. The ship hummed, wrapped in containment fields strong enough to withstand a dying star. Seraya met him there in full armor, though her hands shook when she reached for him. You saved me once, she said. Don't make me watch you die again. If this works, you'll never have to. He handed her a small data crystal. If I don't make it, this contains everything I learned. Maybe it'll help others. She pressed her forehead to his. Their voices were a whisper of memory. 60 years, she murmured. And still, you're the only human I ever loved. He smiled that same crooked smile. Then promise me, if time takes me again, don't stop looking. Always, she whispered. And as the launch bay doors opened, the light from the rift consumed him once more. 6. Echoes and stars. The rift collapsed hours later. No debris, no trace, nothing but silence. Weeks passed, then months, until one night, as Seraya stood on the balcony of her command tower, a faint transmission reached her private channel, encrypted in an ancient Terran frequency. Static filled the air, then a familiar voice cut through. Seraya, if you're hearing this, the rift's closed. I think I made it. The stars look different here. Maybe another galaxy. Another time. Don't wait for me. A pause. Then his voice soft, steady, full of that same impossible hope. But if you ever see a new star rise over Orleans, know that I kept my promise. The transmission ended, and above the horizon, a new light flared, brilliant and blue, cutting through the night sky. Seraya smiled through her tears, pressing a hand over her heart. Welcome home, Elias.